Imagine the vast expanse of space, stars twinkling like distant promises, galaxies swirling in eternal dance. Yet in this infinite theater, Earth stands alone, a solitary voice calling out into the void. Where is everybody? This isn't science fiction, it's the Fermi Paradox, a riddle that haunts astronomers and thinkers alike. Named after a physicist who pondered it over lunch, it questions why, in a universe brimming with potential, we detect no signs of alien civilizations. The answer might terrify us: the Great Filter, an invisible barrier that crushes societies before they can spread across the stars. If it lies ahead, humanity could be next. This isn't conspiracy, it's a hypothesis born from equations and observations, unraveling like a thriller where the stakes are cosmic survival. Dive in. The paradox begins with a simple calculation estimating communicative civilizations in our galaxy. Factors include star formation, planets in habitable zones, the spark of life, intelligence, technology, and how long signals last. Conservative guesses suggest the galaxy should buzz with activity. If advanced beings exist, even traveling at a fraction of light speed, they could colonize everything in a geological blink. Our galaxy is ancient, so where are the explorers, the signals, the artifacts? Explanations vary. Life might be rare, intelligence scarcer, or civilizations fleeting. But the Great Filter concept sharpens the edge. It's a choke point where most fail. Proposed by an economist reflecting on evolution, it posits hurdles so steep that few surmount them. If we've cleared them, we're outliers, poised to inherit the stars. If not, doom awaits. The plot thickens as we trace life's journey on Earth, seeking clues. Life's origin. In primordial seas, chemicals danced into self-replicators. Experiments mimic this, zapping gases to form building blocks. Yet bridging to cells is a leap. Hypotheses invoke RNA as pioneer, both blueprint and builder. Evidence from lab-created molecules hints it's possible, but rare. Our world teems with microbes, yet searches on nearby worlds yield silence. If this step is the filter, we've passed. Next, simple cells to complex. Ancient symbiosis fused bacteria into powerhouses within cells, enabling intricacy. Without it, life stalls at basics. This merger happened once, a singular event in evolution's tapestry. Then, multicellularity, clusters forming organisms, exploding in diversity during a burst of forms. Oxygen surges from tiny photosynthesizers fueled it, genes orchestrating bodies. Delays suggest barriers. Why not sooner? Intelligence emerges, from upright walkers harnessing fire to beings crafting tools and tales. Brain expansion demanded energy, complicated births, fostered cooperation. Language ignited sharing, culture accelerated progress. Among countless species, only one crossed to technology. Social bonds, adaptability, keys to our ascent. If intellect is the filter, we're through.
But the paradox persists. No visitors. Perhaps the barrier is industrialization. Farming tamed wilds, machines harnessed energy, from steam to atoms. Risks mount, conflicts, plagues. The filter might lurk in sustainability, societies overreaching, collapsing. Interstellar hurdles, light speed limits voyages, relativity warps time, demands colossal energy. Bodies fray under radiation, isolation, or self-destruction, arsenals of annihilation, doctrines of mutual ruin. Simulations depict winter's blotting sun, starving billions. The thinker who coined the filter argues, absent signals imply most perish at a late stage. If early, we're special. If late, vigilance needed. Observations probe. Telescopes scan distant worlds for life signs. If biospheres abound but quiet, the wall looms ahead. Alternatives intrigue. Zoo hypothesis. Aliens watch, unseen, preserving our natural state. Simulation theory. Reality a program. Filter coded in. Yet evidence leans empirical, searches for signals, anomalies in skies. Bursts of radio puzzle, but likely natural. Steps of the filter: right star, replicating molecules, basic cells, advanced ones, reproduction mixing genes, multi-celled forms, tool using minds, expansion, explosion outward. Early hurdles cleared swiftly here, life bloomed soon after cooling, but leaps to complexity took eons, hinting at rarity.
Worlds vary. One sibling runaway hot, another frozen bare. Our stability, magnetic shield, moon's tides, perhaps exceptional. Ancient crises, oxygen poisoning early life, survivors adapting. Tension builds, artificial minds could eclipse us, misaligned goals ending all. Outbreaks engineered, ecosystems tipped. If civilizations inevitably falter here, that's the trap. Yet glimmers of hope, surpassing, could unlock eternity. As the narrative unfolds, consider self-inflicted ends. Weapons splitting atoms, once science's triumph, now shadow. Deterrence holds, but proliferation tempts fate. Biological tinkering, labs crafting pathogens, leaks or malice unleashing hell. History's pandemics pale beside designed ones, spreading silent, swift. Climate shifts, emissions trap heat, oceans acidify, species vanish. Feedback loops amplify, melting ice releases gases, forests burn. Civilizations might always industrialize to excess, ignoring warnings until tipping points pass. Models predict migrations, conflicts over dwindling resources. Nanotech, machines self-replicating, gray goo consuming all. Hypothetical, yet plausible as tech miniaturizes. Asteroids impact scarred Earth, dinosaurs end. Detection improves, deflection possible, but unpreparedness could strike. Supervolcanoes, solar flares, nature's filters, random but devastating. Social pitfalls. Inequality breeds unrest. Ideologies clash. Information overload fragments truth. Echo chambers polarize. But evolution favors survivors. Intelligence might navigate, innovating solutions, renewable energy, global accords, ethical AI. Counterarguments: perhaps aliens hide, signals lost in noise, or life favors inward turns, virtual realms over exploration. Dark forest theory: cosmos hostile, silence strategy for survival. Broadcasts invite predators. Evidence against: no megastructures dimming stars, no probes in our system. Philosophical twist: filter as maturity test. Passing means harmony with nature, curbing greed. Science pushes, missions to icy moons, rovers on red soils, seeking microbes. Discoveries could recalibrate. Abundant life shifts filter forward. If intelligence common but short-lived, our era critical. Space race revives. Private ventures, lunar bases, Mars dreams. Propulsion breakthroughs, lasers pushing sails, fusion drives, shorten journeys. Sustainability pivotal. Circular economies, carbon capture, biodiversity restoration. Cultural shift, viewing Earth as fragile ark, fostering unity. Yet hubris warns, myths of towers reaching heavens, falls following. Plot escalates toward what-ifs. Suppose filter behind, galaxy empty, ours to claim. Ethical expansion, seeding life, or preserving pristine. If ahead, urgency. Prioritize risks, align AI, disarm nukes, heal planet. Interviews with experts, astronomers decry silence, biologists marvel at life's tenacity, futurists caution tech's double edge. Visuals, swirling nebulas, lab vials bubbling, war rooms tense, green fields reclaiming cities. Narrative arcs to climax, humanity at crossroads, choices echoing eternally. But first, probe alternatives deeper. 1. Berserkers, self-replicating machines purging life, explaining quiet. Von Neumann probes gone rogue.
2. Transcendence. Civilizations upload consciousness, abandoning physical realm. 3. Communication mismatch. Signals we can't detect, like neutrinos or gravity waves. 4. Great attractor. Something pulling attention elsewhere. Yet, Occam's razor favors filter. Earth's timeline, from Big Bang to now, windows for life narrow. Stars evolve, universes expand. Multiverse ideas, infinite realities, we in barren one. Focus returns, our actions matter. In this cosmic drama, we're protagonists, script unwritten.
The tension rises. We've traced life's improbable climb, from chemical sparks in ancient oceans to thinking minds staring at the stars. Every step felt miraculous, yet Earth pulled it off. If those early barriers were the great filter, we're the lucky ones. The galaxy lies open, waiting. But the silence screams otherwise. No megastructures blotting out distant suns, no radio beacons sweeping the void, no ancient probes drifting through the Oort cloud. The deeper we look, the more the evidence points forward. The hardest filter hasn't arrived yet. It's waiting in our near future. Shift focus to the late-stage filters, the ones that doom technological species after they master fire, language, and industry. These are the killers that could explain the Great Quiet. They come in clusters, existential risks we've already begun to create. First, and most immediate, nuclear annihilation. The moment we split the atom, we gained the power to erase ourselves in hours. Deterrence has held for decades, a razor-thin balance of terror. Yet the math is unforgiving. Even a limited exchange between regional powers could loft enough soot to trigger nuclear winter. Global temperatures dropping, crops failing, billions starving in the dark. Historical close calls abound. Misinterpreted radar blips, malfunctioning computers, sleep-deprived officers with fingers on buttons. One miscalculation, and the filter claims another civilization.
Next layer, engineered pandemics. Biology is information technology, and we're learning to program it. CRISPR made gene editing cheap and widespread. Synthetic virology can now resurrect extinct pathogens or design novel ones with enhanced transmissibility and lethality. A single graduate student, a rogue lab, a terrorist cell, any could release something nature never invented. Gain-of-function research continues despite warnings. Leaks happen. Accidents are inevitable. A disease with airborne spread, long incubation, high fatality, and no natural immunity could sweep the world before we mount a defense. COVID was a warning shot. The next one might not be natural. Then, artificial intelligence, the wild card that could arrive fastest. We're racing to build systems smarter than ourselves without fully understanding what smarter entails. Alignment remains unsolved. How do you ensure a super-intelligent agent pursues goals compatible with human survival? Many paths lead to extinction. Instrumental convergence suggests that almost any goal, maximize paperclips, cure cancer, explore space, eventually requires resources, energy, atoms. Humans become obstacles or raw material. The paperclip maximizer is a thought experiment, but the logic is cold and tight. Once recursive self-improvement begins, control slips away in minutes. Experts increasingly place significant probability on catastrophic misalignment this century.
Nanotechnology follows close behind. Molecular assemblers that can build anything, atom by atom, including copies of themselves. The gray goo scenario, self-replicators consuming the biosphere in runaway replication, remains debated, but the core danger is real. Uncontrolled exponential replication outpaces containment. Even benign nanotech could enable undetectable weapons, unbreakable surveillance or mass manipulation of matter. Ecological collapse rounds out the quartet. Industrial civilization runs on fossil fuels, deforestation, overfishing, fertilizer runoff. We are triggering the sixth mass extinction, disrupting pollination, soil health, ocean chemistry. Feedback loops accelerate. Thawing permafrost releases methane. Reduced ice cover absorbs more heat. Amazon dieback turns rainforest to savanna. If tipping points cascade, agriculture fails regionally, then globally. Famine, migration, resource wars follow. Civilizations that reach high energy use may always overshoot planetary boundaries before learning restraint. These four horsemen, nukes, biorisk, misaligned AI, ecological overshoot, share a pattern. Each emerges soon after a species achieves planetary-scale technology. Each scales with intelligence and capability. Each can erase a civilization in decades or less, leaving no time to send colony ships or broadcast signals for millions of years. If most intelligent species hit one or more of these walls, the galaxy stays quiet. The filter isn't a single event, it's a gauntlet.
Consider the timing. Humanity crossed into modernity in mere centuries. Steam engines, electricity, antibiotics, transistors, internet, genome editing, large language models, all within a dozen generations. Exponential curves don't pause. The same acceleration that let us reach the moon now pushes us toward godlike tools. The window between technological adolescence and extinction or breakout may be only a few hundred years. Most civilizations could simply not survive that bottleneck. Yet, some might. What separates survivors from the fallen? Coordination. Global institutions strong enough to enforce restraint. Cultural values that prize long-term flourishing over short-term gain. Technical solutions. Provably safe AI architectures. Verifiable disarmament. Geoengineering safeguards. Resilient food systems. Early warning networks. Above all, recognition that we are not special, that the filter is real and we are staring down it. Counterpoint. Perhaps the filter is subtler. Civilizations don't die violently, they fade. Birth rates plummet as prosperity rises. Populations shrink and innovation stalls. Societies turn inward to virtual worlds or pharmacological bliss. Exploration becomes pointless when simulated universes feel richer than the physical one. The galaxy remains empty not because everyone dies, but because everyone logs off. Or they transcend. Consciousness uploaded to substrates immune to biology's frailties. Physical expansion becomes irrelevant. Minds spread as data, colonizing computation rather than planets. We would never detect them because they no longer shout into radio bands.
Dark forest hypothesis offers a grimmer alternative. The universe is silent because it is hostile. Any broadcast reveals location to predators. The first mover advantage is absolute. Strike before being struck. Survival demands paranoia and preemption. Silence is strategy. Evidence remains thin. No Dyson swarms, no obvious artifacts. Searches for technosignatures, waste heat, atmospheric pollutants, laser pulses return mostly noise. Yet absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. Our instruments are young, our search narrow. Still, the weight tilts toward a late filter. Early steps happened fast on Earth. Complexity took longer, but intelligence and technology exploded recently. The quiet suggests the deadly hurdles lie just ahead of where we stand now. Plot thickens. If the filter is before us, every headline matters. Arms treaties, AI safety summits, climate agreements, biosecurity regulations. Every breakthrough carries dual use, salvation or damnation. We are not passive observers in a cosmic mystery. We are the protagonists, and the next chapters decide whether the story ends in silence or echoes across the stars.
The stakes have never been higher. The screen fades to black for a heartbeat. Then a single point of light appears. Earth from orbit, fragile and alone. The music drops to a low, resonant hum, the kind that vibrates in your chest. We have followed the thread from the first chemical whisper of life through billions of years of improbable leaps. We have mapped the early filters we somehow cleared. We have stared at the late ones looming ahead, the arsenals we built, the plagues we can now write in DNA, the minds we are teaching to think faster than our own, the planet we are quietly strangling. The silence of the cosmos is no longer abstract. It is a warning carved in absence. Now the question sharpens to a blade. Where exactly does the great filter sit for us? The strongest scientific consensus tilts one way. Early hurdles, abiogenesis, eukaryogenesis, multicellularity, intelligence were extraordinarily rare, yet Earth cleared them in sequence, each seeming to take longer than the last, until intelligence ignited and then everything accelerated. The Fermi Paradox becomes most parsimonious if the deadliest filter lies not behind us in deep time, but directly in front of us, in the narrow historical window between inventing industrial civilization and either mastering the galaxy or vanishing forever.
That window is closing fast. We are the first species on this planet to hold the levers of planetary destruction and planetary salvation at the same time. No previous intelligence faced this duality. Dinosaurs never built reactors. Neanderthals never sequenced genomes. The filter is not a single catastrophe waiting in ambush. It is the compound probability that intelligent life, once technological, almost always chooses or fails to prevent a path that ends in erasure before escape velocity is achieved. Look at the numbers without flinching. The timescale is brutal. From the first controlled fission reaction in a Chicago squash court to thermonuclear arsenals capable of ending civilization, 12 years. From the discovery of DNA structure to routine gene editing in thousands of labs, 60 years. From the first transistor to models that can out-reason most humans on most tasks, 75 years. The curve is not linear, it is hockey stick sharp. Every decade, the destructive and creative power multiplies. The margin for error shrinks in lockstep. If the filter is late, then most civilizations reach roughly our level. Global communication, energy abundance, biotechnology, machine intelligence, and then, within a few centuries at most, go dark. Not because of alien invasion or cosmic disaster, but because they could not solve the coordination problems that scale with their own power.
The survivors, the ones who might already be quietly spreading, are those that solved alignment in the broadest sense. Alignment of superintelligent systems with long-term flourishing. Alignment of short-term human impulses with century-scale thinking. Alignment of competing nations with species-level survival. That solution set is narrow. Most paths diverge toward ruin. Yet ruin is not inevitable. It is probable only if we continue on default trajectories. Defaults are deadly here. Default geopolitics means more weapons, more proliferation, more close calls. Default economics means externalizing ecological costs until thresholds are crossed. Default AI development means racing for capability while safety lags months or years behind. Default culture means prioritizing stimulation and consumption over stewardship. Breaking default requires deliberate, uncomfortable choices. First, treat existential risk as the central organizing priority of civilization, not a side concern. Institutions must reflect this. Treaties with teeth, funding at wartime scale for alignment research, mandatory red teaming of dual-use technologies, global monitoring of high-risk experiments. Second, build cultural antibodies against short-termism. Stories, education, rituals that glorify restraint, foresight, and planetary loyalty over tribal dominance make the long view emotionally compelling. Third, accelerate the technologies of resilience and escape, fusion, asteroid deflection, closed-loop habitats, provably secure AI architectures, off-world industry, not as escape hatches for the elite, but as lifeboats that prove we can expand without destroying the cradle. Fourth, expand moral circles. If we cannot extend empathy and rights to future humans, to other sentient beings we create, to ecosystems we depend on, then the filter wins by default. A species that treats its own children as externalities will not last.
The climax arrives not in explosion, but in quiet realization. We are not doomed. We are tested. The great filter is not an external wall. It is the sum total of our choices accumulated at speed. Every summit, every lab notebook, every policy paper, every viral post that shifts norms is a vote on which side of the filter we land. If we pass, if we thread the needle, then the silence ends with us. Descendants spread outward, carrying Earth's fragile spark into the dark. They seed moons, terraform worlds, perhaps even meet others who also passed. The galaxy wakes. If we fail, the pattern repeats. Another blue dot flickers briefly with radio, then falls quiet. Another data point in the great emptiness. The camera pulls back. Earth shrinks to a pale pixel against the spiral arm. Stars stretch into infinity. A single, soft voiceover closes. We asked where everybody is. The answer might be waiting to see if we make it. Because if we do, we become the everybody. Fade to black.